The Tinderbox by Hans Christian Andersen. A soldier came marching along the road. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. He had a sword by his side and a knapsack on his back. He'd been away fighting in wars, but now he was going home. As he came marching along the road, he saw an old witch sitting by the wayside. She was ugly. Her chin was long and pointed, her hair was long and grey, and her lower lip hung right down to her breast. But the soldier wasn't afraid of her. Why should he be? He was brave. He'd been fighting in wars. It would take more than a witch to scare him. The witch pointed her long bony finger at him and said to him, "Good evening, soldier. What a fine sword you have. What a big knapsack you have. I can make you as rich as you could ever want to be." "Well, thank you very much, old witch," said the soldier. "Do you see that tree over there?" said the witch. "I do," said the soldier. "If you climb to the top of the tree," said the witch, "you can climb down inside. And when you get to the bottom, you'll find yourself in a long hall lit up with 300 lanterns. If you look to the right of you, you'll see 3 doors. Open the first door. There is a dog with eyes as big as teacups guarding a chest full of copper money. But don't be afraid of the dog, because I will lend you my check apron. Put the dog on the apron and you can take as much copper money as you want. When you come out of that room, if you go into the next room, you'll see a chest full of silver money. There's a dog guarding that chest with eyes as big as cartwheels. But don't be afraid of the dog. Put him on my check apron and he will not harm you, and you can take as much silver money as you wish. When you go into the next room, you'll see a chest full of gold coins, more gold coins than you've ever seen in your life. Guarding the chest is a big dog with eyes as big as the round tower of Copenhagen. But don't be afraid of the dog. Put him on my check apron and he will not harm you, and you can take as much gold as you want." "Well, thank you very much, old witch," said the soldier. "But why are you doing this for me? Must be something you want out of this." "I don't want a penny from you," said the witch, "but only one small favour. There's an old tinderbox that you'll see when you get to the bottom of the tree that my dear old grandmother left when she was down there last. If you just be good enough to bring that up for me." "Well, how do I get down inside the tree?" said the soldier. "I will put a rope round your waist," said the witch, "and when you are ready to come up, you call me and I will pull you up." The soldier started climbing up the tree. It seemed easy enough. He got to the top, he got inside, and climbed down and down and down and down and down. And sure enough, he found himself in a big hall lit up with 300 lanterns. He looked to the right of him, and sure enough, 3 doors. Opened the first door, and a big dog with eyes as big as teacups sat there guarding a chest full of copper money. "Well, you're a fine fellow," said the soldier, and patted the dog, put the dog on the check apron, and filled his pockets, his boots, his trousers, his knapsack with copper money. Patted the dog, took the dog off the check apron, and went into the next room. And sure enough, there was a big chest full of silver coins, and a dog with eyes as big as cartwheels guarding the chest. "Well, you're a fine fellow," said the soldier, and patted the dog. He put the dog on the check apron, threw away all the copper money, and filled his pockets, his boots, his trousers, his knapsack with silver money. Patted the dog, took the dog off the check apron, and went into the next room. And sure enough, it was a big chest full of gold coins, more gold coins than he'd ever seen in his life. And there was a big dog guarding the chest with eyes as big as the round towers of Copenhagen. "Well, you're a fine fellow," said the soldier, and patted the dog, "but don't stare at me like that, my boy, you'll ruin your eyes." He put the dog on the check apron and threw away all the silver coins and filled his boots, his pockets, his trousers, his knapsack, his hat, absolutely full with gold coins. Indeed, he had got some money. He could hardly walk, but he wasn't worried about that. He was rich. He came back to the tree and said, "You can pull me up now, old witch." "Have you got my tinderbox?" she said. "Oh, blast," said the soldier. "I'd forgotten." And he went back and found the tinderbox, put it in his knapsack and said, "You can pull me up now." The witch pulled and pulled and pulled on the rope until the soldier was climbing down the tree, and then he was standing next to her by the wayside. "What are you going to do with this tinderbox, old witch?" said the soldier. "That's no concern of yours," said the witch. "You've got your money. Now you give me my tinderbox." "We'll see about that," said the soldier. "You tell me what you're going to do with this tinderbox, or I'll cut off your head." "No," said the witch. "Your last chance," said the soldier, drawing his sword. "No," said the witch. So the soldier cut off her head, and that was the end of her. He started walking towards the town, and he spent the night in the most expensive hotel, and the next day he was dining at the most expensive restaurants. In the days that followed, he was buying very expensive clothes and travelling about in great style. A gentleman he was indeed, going to the theatre, making lots of nice friends. He was kind and generous to poor people because he knew what it was like to be poor, because he came from a poor family himself. When he saw beggars with no money, he was generous and kind and gave them money. One evening he was sitting dining with some friends, and he saw a big copper tower, and he said, "Who lives in that copper tower there?" "Oh," they said to him, "that's the princess. She's guarded day and night in the copper tower because it's been rumoured that she'll marry a common soldier, and the father, the king, doesn't want that." "Well," said the soldier to himself, "I'm a rich man now. I'd like to get to see the princess," but he didn't know how to go about it. Well, in the weeks and months that followed, he was living a good lifestyle, spending money, but he wasn't earning any money, and eventually his money ran out. And he had to leave his fine lodgings, and he couldn't dine any more at the expensive restaurants or go to the theatre. He had to live in a very small room at the top of a tall building. Nobody came to see him because there were too many stairs to climb. One evening, he was sitting all on his own in the dark, and he found the old tinderbox in his knapsack and thought, "Well, I might as well strike a light and get a candle going." So he struck a light with a tinderbox, and guess who appeared? The dog that was guarding the chest full of copper money. "Hello, boy," said the soldier. "Did you expect to see you here?" "What are your commands, my master?" said the dog. "Can you get me some money?" said the soldier. In an instant the dog was back with the biggest purse full of copper money the soldier had ever seen. And then the soldier realised, then he struck once, the dog guarding the chest with copper money appeared. Twice, the dog guarding the chest with silver money appeared. 3 times, the dog guarding the chest with gold money appeared. Well, he was soon very rich again, and once more he was living in luxury, and once more his friends recognised him and paid him great court. One evening he sat and thought to himself, "I'd like to get to see that princess." So he picked up the tinderbox and struck a light. The first dog appeared. "What are your commands, my master?" said the dog. "Can you get me the princess?" said the soldier. In an instant the dog was back with the princess, and she looked beautiful, fast asleep on the dog's back. The soldier could not resist kissing the princess. Then he told the dog to take her back. The next morning the princess was having a breakfast with her mum and dad, the king and queen, and she said, "I had a strange dream last night. A dog carried me away to a soldier, and the soldier kissed me." The king and queen thought, "Oh, I was just having a dream." However, a few nights later, the soldier wanted to see the princess again, so he struck a light with a tinderbox, and the first dog appeared and said, "What are your commands, my master?" "Can you get me the princess again?" said the soldier. In an instant the dog was back with the princess, and she looked so lovely. The soldier kissed her once more and told the dog to take her back. The next day, at the breakfast table, the princess said to her mum and dad, "I had that dream again last night, that a dog carried me away to a soldier, and the soldier kissed me." Well, this time the king and queen were beginning to wonder, so they told the ladies in waiting to watch the princess very carefully. A few nights later, the soldier wanted to see the princess again, so he struck a match with a tinderbox, and the first dog appeared. "What are your commands, my master?" said the dog. "Can you get me the princess again?" said the soldier. In an instant the dog was back with the princess, and once more the soldier kissed her and told the dog to take her back. But what he didn't realise was one of the ladies in waiting had followed the dog and put a cross on his door. But when the dog took the princess back, he saw the cross on the soldier's door, and he went all through the town with a piece of chalk putting crosses on every door he could find. The next morning at the breakfast table, the princess once again said to her mum and dad, "I had that dream again last night that I was carried away by a dog to a soldier and kissed by the soldier." Well, this time the king and queen knew it wasn't a dream, and they were down the town. They came to a house with a cross on it. "Here it is," said the queen. "No, here it is," said the king. "No, it's this one," said the queen. "No, it's this one," said the king. There were crosses on every door, and they just didn't know what to do. However, the queen was a very clever lady, and she could do a lot more than sit in the carriage and wave to people. So she made a big bag with silk and made a tiny little hole in the bottom of the bag and filled the bag with rice, so that wherever the bag went, a trail of rice would be left behind. When the princess went to bed that night, she tied the bag around the princess's waist. The soldier that night thought, "I must see the princess again." Got the tinderbox and struck a light, and the first dog appeared. "What are your commands, my master?" said the dog. "Can you get the princess again?" said the soldier. In an instant the dog was back with the princess, and once more the soldier kissed her and told the dog to take her back. Next morning at the breakfast table, the princess was telling her mum and dad about the dream that she'd had, and this time the king and queen said, "Well, we know what to do now," and they followed the trail of rice all the way to the soldier's house and knocked on the door. And the soldier was arrested and taken to a cell. And then they said to him, "In the morning you will be executed for what you have done," which didn't please him at all. The next morning a large crowd was running along to the scaffold to see him executed. When the soldier looked out through his prison cell and called to a boy, boy, why in such a hurry? Nothing's going to happen till I get there, but if you want to earn yourself £1, go back to my house and fetch me my tinderbox. You'll find it on the table." Well, the boy was very anxious to make £1, so he ran back to the soldier's house, got the tinderbox and came back and gave it to the soldier through the bars in his prison window, and the soldier gave him £1. He was taken to the scaffold, and they were going to put a rope round his neck and hang him, and the soldier said, your majesty, one request, I may smoke my pipe for the last time." Well, the king couldn't refuse him a request like that, so the soldier got his tinderbox and he struck once, twice, 3 times. All the dogs appeared and they said, "What are your commands, our master?" And the soldier said, "Don't let them hang me." And the dogs fell on the soldiers and tossed them up in the air. They fell on the king and queen and tossed them up in the air, and the people were frightened, and the soldier said, "Soldier, soldier, we surrender. You can marry our princess if that is what you want." The princess was brought out of the copper tower and brought to the soldier, and the soldier said to her, "Would you marry me?" "Yes," said the princess. So the princess and the soldier were married, and at their wedding the dogs were guests of honour and made eyes at everybody, and the soldier and the princess lived happily ever after.